Tuft watched one video. One. And somehow, that was enough. 30 days without alcohol, a clear mind, a better life. Probably. So Tuft made a decision. Tomorrow, he would stop drinking. At least 30 days. Hopefully, forever. By day 2, Tuft had not slept. The eyes were gone. The soul was buffering. So naturally, he turned to self-help books, which is usually when the real damage begins. By day 5, Tuft got invited to a birthday party. What a timing. Alcohol everywhere, music everywhere, and people making decisions that tomorrow would have to deal with. Things escalated. Nobody seemed worried. Tuft realized he was no longer the strangest thing in the room. By day 8, Tuft discovered something important. If you remove one bad habit, your brain may immediately start looking for another one. Only this time, it came with a subscription button. Tuft called it research. His bank account called it a crime scene. That night, Tuft tried to sleep. Bad idea, because apparently, when you remove alcohol, replace it with financial panic, and add 8 hours of internet regret, the brain starts producing original content. After the nightmare, Tuft decided he needed better company, not algorithms, not books, not whatever happened last night. He needed people who would never touch alcohol. People who said things like, "Nah, bro, I don't drink," which sounded responsible, adult, almost spiritual. So Tuft accepted an invitation from a guy who had not touched alcohol in years. And technically, that part was true. He did not drink. He just had a different relationship with relaxation. So Tuft stayed, and for the first time in days, Tuft was having fun. Not improving, not healing, but fun. A few days later, Tuft tried again. This time with healthy people. Actual healthy people. The kind of people who meet in vegan cafes, drink green things, and say words like gut health. For a while, it worked. Nobody was drunk. Nobody was shouting. Nobody had purple eyes. Then someone mentioned kombucha. Tuft processed this information. Poorly. His brain ignored a tiny amount. Ignored, probably not enough to matter. No. Tuft heard permission. A few minutes later, he made a responsible purchase. At least, that's what the paper bag said. Tuft tested the limits of wellness. You can drink kombucha responsibly. Or you can drink it like a raccoon who found a minibar. Technically, he had not relapsed. Spiritually, his soul felt fermented. By day 23, Tuft was tired. Not just physically, emotionally, morally, financially. Even his excuses needed a nap. So he decided it was time for the real test. No more tricks, no more fermented technicalities. Just one bottle in the house for 1 week, untouched, to prove he was in control. At first, Tuft was calm, almost mature. He made a list. He wrote down goals. No drink, be strong, new me, control. Very serious words from a man staring at a beer. Then the bottle started looking back. Not literally, probably. Tuft tried to ignore it. He opened the fridge. He closed the fridge. He walked away like a strong person. Then he came back. For a while, nothing happened. And honestly, that was the worst part. Because the bottle just sat there, quiet, patient, available. Tuft stared at it again. The bottle stared at Tuft. And somewhere deep inside him, a very stupid negotiation began. One sip would not be drinking. It would be exposure therapy, research, science almost. Then he made a decision. He picked up the bottle just to prove he could put it down. Unfortunately, the experiment did not last a week. In fact, it did not even last 10 minutes. Still, Tuft knew there was one very important thing left to do. Buy backup. Tuft had returned home. The dignity was missing. And yet, somehow, he felt peaceful. Because life has a strange way of putting things in perspective. Sure, he had failed his final test. Sure, he was back on the sofa, drinking beer, watching a documentary about a woman sniffing her dead husband's ashes. But then Tuft looked at the TV screen, looked at his beer, and said, and that was the lesson. Sometimes, you do not defeat your demons. You just find a documentary that makes them look slightly more reasonable. After all,
we are only human. Unfortunately.